everyone, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. And today, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be telling you guys what my current favorite albums are for this month of June. I haven't done a current favorite albums video since I think March, and since then I have found a bunch of new albums that of course I've become obsessed with, and I gotta show you guys. I'm super excited to tell you guys about these albums. I have 3 I'm gonna be telling you guys about today, and yeah, here we go. So the first album that I've been obsessed with this month is Halsey's new album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. As a lot of you guys know, I just did a video on this a few weeks ago, and I did my first ever album review. So I reviewed the album, I told you guys what I thought about it, I talked about my favorite tracks. So I'm not gonna go really in-depth of the album in this video. If you want to see my full thoughts on it, please go watch that video. I will link it right here. But overall, as a lot of you guys know, I love that album. I think it's Halsey's best work so far. You can really tell how much she's matured in this new album. And I really love the new kind of sound and style. She's trying out a lot of new things with electronics and her voice. As I said in that video, she sings a lot higher in this new album. I mean, you hear how strong her voice really is. And I love that. My favorite songs in this album are Heaven in Hiding, Alone, Bad at Love, and Strangers. Now originally, as a lot of you guys know, I didn't love the singles. I was a little worried that she was going in this crazy new pop direction, and I wasn't too crazy about the new singles. However, after the entire album came out, I kind of understand the meaning behind all the singles, and I've actually grown to love them. My favorite single is probably Now or Never. I think it's just very catchy and simple, and I think it has a nice placement in the album. As a lot of you guys know, this album has a Romeo and Juliet theme. Of course, you can tell that by the first track and the prologue. It starts with Halsey reading the beginning of Romeo and Juliet by Shakespeare, and I think that kind of sets the tone for the album. I like that theme. I think she does a good job of having all the songs, obviously it's about a breakup, but I like how she kind of had all the songs stay in that theme. And I think the album has a nice flow. There are some really great key points in the album. For example, after Good Morning, I think it goes into Lies, and that transition is so good. It's such a good transition. And there's just little things like that. I think Halsey's definitely matured lyrically as well. There's so many great lyrics in this album. And if you actually looked on her Twitter, she was tweeting about some of the connections between the different lyrics from this album and even from Badlands. And she said those are not coincidences, she put them there for a reason, so it kind of shows how much thought she really put into this new album, and I think it's great. I think it's a wonderful album. It's been on repeat this whole month. It's kind of been my only chill album, I guess. I've listened to a lot of heavier stuff this month, but I still like to listen to her because her voice is pretty soothing, and also a lot of these songs are just kind of fun. They have a really nice, fun, dancey beat, and I really enjoy this album. The next album I'm going to be talking to you guys about is Chemical Miracle by Trophy Eyes. And oh my gosh, guys, this album is so good. This is the first album that I've heard by Trophy Eyes. It's the first stuff I really checked out by them. And you all know it's Warped Tour season now. It's officially Warped Tour season. And as a lot of you guys know, I'm going to Warped Tour this year, finally. I'm going to the July 8th date, which is in Long Island, or Wantagh, New York, but it's technically in Long Island, right across from Jones Beach. So I've been listening to a lot of the bands that I'm planning on seeing on Warped Tour, and Trophy Eyes is one of them. And I hadn't heard anything by Trophy Eyes, but I've heard a lot about this album, and I was so excited to check it out, and I really fallen in love with it. In the beginning, I think I was just kind of like, I was like, oh, this is pretty good, but over time, these tracks have grown on me so much, and I just can't get them out of my head. They're very catchy, a lot of really great hooks in this album, and it just has a really cool feel. Trophy Eyes, I don't really know what genre they'd be. Not pop punk, but I guess, I don't want to say post-hardcore, because I don't really call them hardcore. I don't know. I'm just going to categorize them as kind of alternative. There's some screaming, there's some intense talking, there's also just some singing though in the album, so it's really cool. I feel like there's a lot of different tracks for everyone in this album, and you'd probably be able to find at least a few tracks that you like from this album. Now, the thing that really drew me in about this album is that on the tracks where the lead singer is just singing, there's not screaming at all. It reminded me of a band that I really love called Turnover. Y'all know Turnover. The parts where the lead singer isn't screaming, like in the beginning of Heaven Sent and Breathe You In, sounds just like a Turnover song to me, and I think that's kind of what really drew me into the album, and was like, this is so good. I love the way his voice sounds when he's just singing. Now, I do also love the screaming songs, My favorite songs from this album are Nosebleed, Heaven Sent, Breathe You In, Daydreamer, and Counting Sheep. Counting Sheep has such a catchy guitar riff in it. Like, the instrumentation is probably my favorite part of that song. Just from the beginning all the way through, there's this certain guitar sound, and it kind of gets stuck in your head. It's very catchy, and I'll be singing like with the guitar. Like, it's just that good. Also, the opening track on this album is Chlorine, and it's so cool because you can hear parts and lines from a bunch of the other songs in the album, and you guys know how much I love that. Like, you can literally hear parts from Breathe You In, Daydreamer, Suicide Pact, I think. Like, you can hear parts from every single song in this one opening track, which I think is so cool. Also, the ending track is Daydreamer. That was one of my initial favorites when I first heard the album, and I can just really relate to the lyrics a lot on that song, so like that's the reason I really like it a lot. But I also just love, I don't know, I just love the tune of that song, and I like how most of it is just the lead singer singing, but by the end he's screaming the lyrics, which I really love. And like, for example, Nosebleed is a song, I don't know really what he's saying. Like, I had to look up the lyrics and try to figure it out, because when he's screaming I can't really tell what he's saying. But even not knowing what he's saying, the song is still a bop. Like, it's just, it has such a good beat when he's screaming. I don't know how to explain this, but he screams in like a really cool way, where it's like, you can just sing, you could be saying anything with him, but it's like, it's such a cool beat. I don't know, just check out the song Nosebleed, you might see what I'm talking about. Also, there's a few good transitions on this album, specifically the transition from Rain on Me to the song Chemical is amazing. Like, it is so flawless that you cannot even tell that the song changed. Like, it's some type of but it's better if you do to I Write Sins type of shit. Like, that's literally the best way to explain it, is it's going from like but it's better if you do to I Write Sins. Like, that flawless just transition where you cannot even tell the song is changing. That is what's happening from Rain on Me to Chemical, and it is so good. It blows me away every single time. I really want to get this album on vinyl because I feel like that part would sound 10 times better even on vinyl, because you're not going to be able to really know when it changes, and I love stuff like that. Also, the song Chemical is really cool. It's kind of in the middle of the whole album, and it's just a 1-minute song, I think. And there's not a lot of instrumentation in the song, it's just the lead singer screaming, and there's a ton of emotion in his voice that you can really hear, and I love that part. I like when he says, if love is just a chemical reaction, why is death so different? That's kind of the end of his big screaming section. I love that. There's a lot of really great lyrics in this album, guys. So I definitely encourage you guys to check out this album, especially if you guys are going to Warped Tour and Trophy Eyes are going to be at your date. Check them out. They're so good. I'm so excited to see them live. I can't wait to hear them play a bunch of these songs live. It's going to be so much fun, and I've really fallen in love with their music. And my last current favorite album for the month of June is my favorite album right now. I've been listening to this since like May, I think. But now I've literally just become so obsessed that I have to listen to it like every day. And that is Outgrown Things by Movements. This is an EP. It's actually the only EP Movements have out right now. It's only 6 songs. The EP is pretty short. It's like, I don't know, 16 minutes, I think. So I can listen to it like every day a lot because it's just 6 songs. And it's the only 6 songs that Movements have out except for the Hatchet, Catacombs remix, and Protection demo. Other than that, this is the only EP they have out right now. Luckily, they are coming out with a full-length album this summer, supposedly. I cannot wait for that. But they're going on Warped Tour too, which is one of the main reasons I wanted to check them out. But also, I had heard snippets of the song 19, and I really liked what I heard, so I decided to check the whole thing out. And guys, this EP is so good. I could literally talk about this EP forever. Movements are so underrated as a band. Like, please check them out. I think them going on Warped Tour this year is gonna get them a lot more famous because they deserve so many more fans. They are so talented. This whole entire EP lyrically is beautiful. There are these talking sections where the lead singer is pretty much just, honestly, reading poetry. They kind of remind me a bit of Knuckle Puck at certain points with the parts where they're just talking, and they remind me of a lot of different artists. They remind me of Knuckle Puck, but then also, my friend pointed out that during some of the songs, like in Losing Fight, the beginning is just really light, like soft singing. It's pretty chill. It reminds her of Brand New, and I totally agree. So this has a lot of really cool elements in it. Like, it sounds like Brand New, it kind of sounds like Knuckle Puck. Once again, I don't really know what their genre is, they're similar to Trophy Eyes in the sense that there is screaming, there's singing, there's talking. I don't really know, so I'm just gonna call them alternative. My favorite songs from this album, I mean, there's only 6 of them and they're all amazing. I really love 19. 19 was the first song from this album that I fell in love with. It's just so good. It starts off really soft and kind of chill, but then the chorus just hits you and it's so powerful. He's screaming, and the entire talking section after the first chorus is so powerful. I mean, the lead singer is talking about not wanting to live this life where he goes to this 9-to-5 job. He wants to do what he's interested in, and he doesn't want to just like sit at a desk all day. He talks about stability and how it's not a desk job, and that part I think is probably really relatable to a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of people that go to Warped Tour as well, you know, people that kind of don't fit in that cookie cutter like 9-to-5 job standard. I think a lot of people can relate to this song, which is why it's one of the more popular ones in this EP. And I just love singing along that part with him. I love learning the talking sections of these songs because you can really just hear the emotion in his voice, and it's so powerful. So my favorite songs are probably 19, like I said, and also Hatchet is another one that I really, really love. But I also really like Vacant Home. That's another one. There's too many of them, but yeah, Vacant Home is also super, super good. I just think it has a powerful chorus and it's fun to sing along with. And man, this EP, guys, like seriously, it's amazing front to back. There is not a bad song on this EP, and the order of the songs is great. So it starts out with Kept, which is kind of this fun, catchy tune, and then it goes into more of the deeper stuff in between, like 19 and Hatchet and all that, but then it ends with Losing Fight, which is this extremely powerful song where most of the song, like I said before, is just him singing very quietly, sounds like brand new, it's really chill. And at the end, he says, "As if I didn't know," and he screams, "I'm a fucking mess." And he just screams it, and you know, all the drums start to come in, and it's like really intense, the instrumentation, and he's screaming, and he's talking about his demons and how he can't fight them, and it kind of ends the EP in this sense that's like, there might be hope, but we also feel like he's just kind of given up on himself. Just a lot of emotions, a lot of power. Every time I listen to this EP, I just want to give them a hug. Like, I just want to hug the lead singer and be like, dude, it's okay. Like, I feel so bad. Just, that's how deep the lyrics are, guys. So, maybe I can meet them at Warped Tour and tell them it's alright. But literally, guys, please, please listen to them on this EP. If you like alternative, if you like screaming, talking, if you like brand new or Knuckle Puck, I feel like you won't be disappointed. It's just so good. They are so incredibly talented. If you're going to Warped Tour this year and they're at your date, please go see them. They're going to be at the Full Sail stage, I think. Both them and Trophy Eyes are going to be at the Full Sail stage, and they just deserve so many more fans, so please go check them out. But there you guys go. Those are the 3 albums that I have currently been obsessed with for this past month of June. I feel like I'm probably going to keep listening to all these throughout July, especially the last 2 because I'm just getting ready for Warped Tour and listening to these. And I'm super, super excited to see both Trophy Eyes and Movements on Warped Tour. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun. And Halsey's new album, that's just going to be on repeat for the entire summer, I feel like. And I'm also hoping to maybe go and see her on her fall tour for this album. I don't know yet. We'll see about that. She's not really coming anywhere like super near me, so it'd have to be a drive. Of course, that's my life. So we'll have to see about that. But either way, guys, tell me down below in the comments what you've currently been listening to this June, and if any of the albums that I talked about today you guys like as well. Give me your thoughts on them. And yeah, other than that, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you're not already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!